afternoon, everyone. We warmly welcome to this side event to the 13th conference to the party titled Wetland as Living System Protection, Regeneration and Governance for a Sustainable Future System. My name is Diana Vega, Director of the FUDESO Foundation for Social Development FUDESO, and I have the honor to moderate. Before we begin, I must briefly inform you that due to an unfortunate technical issue with my camera, I will replace as moderator. The moderator for today's session will be Daniela Garrido by FUDESO. I thank Daniela for stepping in, and I apologize for my minor inconvenience. Daniela, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. We warmly welcome you to this side event of the 30th Conference of the Parties titled Wetlands as Living System, Protection, Regeneration and Governance for a Sustainable Future. My name is Daniela Garrido from Foundation for Social Development, FUDESO, and I have the honor, Diana, just say that. Today, we gather to continue a dialogue that began during the high-level political forum of sustainable development, where we reaffirm the importance of strengthened South-South cooperation and advancing toward governance models that are more inclusive, just, and participatory. Wetlands are essential living systems. They sustain biodiversity, regulate water and carbon cycles, and contribute to resilience in the face of climate change. However, from the territories, we see that they remain undervalued ecosystems, exposed to growing pressure such as pollution, extractive activities, and accelerated landscape transformations. It is precisely this territorial urgency that brings us together today. We now welcome Professor Eeva Furman, Secretary General of the National Commission for Sustainable Development of Finland, whose work has been a global reference in environmental governance, participatory approaches, and systems transformation.
Eriarvoisuus lisääntyy, luonnon monimuotoisuus köyhtyy, ilmastonmuutos etenee ja jäteongelma kasvaa kaikkialla. Vaikka tilanne on erittäin vakava, siirtyminen kestäville poluille on vielä mahdollinen. Omilla toimillani haluan luoda lapsille uskoa tulevaisuuteen. Yhteinen kompassimme turvalliseen ja oikeudenmukaiseen maailmaan on YK:n kestävän kehityksen ohjelma Agenda 2030. Eriarvoisuus lisääntyy, luonnon monimuotoisuus.
Eeva, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Such a pleasure to be here with you, dear participants of the side event. So it's a privilege for me to give this open statement on the Wetlands as Living Systems side event in Brazil. I wish I would be in Brazil, but I'm in Finland and representing the Prime Minister's office here. So we already heard about and we all know about the wetlands quite a bit, but just to again raise the issue that the wetlands are universal on one hand, and on the other hand, they are so place specific. Water is universal. It is a source of life, and wetlands are the spaces where life of land and life underwater meet. However, wetlands take many different forms and functions. From the aerial perspective, most dominant and cosmopolitan are something like peatlands, marshes, swamps, and lakes. But there are wetlands which are more sporadic or exist only in limited parts of the planet, such as kelp forest and salt marshes. And some of the highly endangered are coral reefs, while some are less so, as many estuarine waters, rivers, and streams. There would be endless angles to approach the climate change issue of the COP30, and many take place. But the topic of this event brings us to the very core of the issue. We are witnessing the highly important ecosystems type with global appearance, the wetlands, losing its capacity to contribute to humans and planet's well-being. Could global country-to-country collaboration, especially in South-South context, which was emphasized in the high-level political forum for sustainable development, contribute to find solutions for management through benchmarking, supporting each other, and co-creating novel and scalable community-based management to secure the health and the width of wetlands globally. Wetland ecosystem services play a key role in supporting various global processes in natural systems, such as circulation of nutrients, balancing physiochemical flows, and even more so, they support the local and regional systems where natural and human linkages are most evident. These include their capacity to protect communities from climate change impacts, such as storms and floods, to provide nutrition to communities, especially the poor ones, by functioning as nurseries for fish and other seafood. It is well estimated that the direct use of ecosystem services from wetland to is highest in the global south. For many people, losing wetlands in their home areas means losing opportunities for basic needs for living, shelter, food, water, livelihoods, their protective shield as a whole. The recent Wetland Global Outlook 2025 by Ramzan does not draw a very pretty picture of the situation. Since 1970, approximately 22% of global area of wetlands have been lost, with an ongoing annual decline of a 0.5%. In addition, some 25% of the remaining wetlands still that we have suffer from poor ecological state, and this trend is also continuing worldwide. Wetland loss is caused by converting natural wetlands to other land uses, for example, agriculture, aquaculture, forestry, urbanization, industrialization, and increasingly also for recreational activities. There is an urgent need to co-create ways we humans could coexist along the wetland ecosystems. We must find more concrete ways that go beyond cases and recommendations found in textbooks. Here, support and collaboration between countries and as friends is highly valuable. As I said, I come from Finland, a relatively small country far in the north. Wetlands has always played an important role in our country. We share the brackish water area with 9 different countries. And since 1970s, we have learned to collaborate in an environment of trust. When it comes to shared watersheds, we share them with 3 land-based neighbors, Sweden, Norway, and Russia. Since 1980s, we have been building border water commissions with each of them separately. In these commissions, management issues such as sustainable fisheries, fair use of water, and management for good water quality are dealt with. The long-lasting collaboration has built trust and helped to bring upcoming issues on the table when needed. So, for example, climate change was not there on the agenda when everything was started. At present, both cooperation on wetlands are on hold due to the Russia's aggressiveness on Ukraine. Aggressive situations between countries are very unfortunate, also as they place nature in a highly vulnerable situation. Losing the long-lasting trust reveals how important the country-country collaboration actually is. Personally, I am a true believer and lover of country-to-country collaboration, being part of so many of them. For example, Finland has collaborated with Nigeria last year on benchmarking each other on ways to make progress on sustainable development. I learned very much on this, on the participatory issues and how to highlight certain issues that are specific for our country that we didn't understand ourselves. Additionally, the Global Forum for Sustainable Development, which is a big network, has brought experts from many countries together also to discuss the best practices in enhancing sustainability transformation, and we have made a booklet on that. It has helped all of us. So let us now learn more from Latin America-Africa collaboration and hear the plans and thoughts from Nigeria, Brazil, and Chile. Let the world become small. Let the future wetlands be again united in a healthy and extensive form of life. Thank you very much.
We deeply thank Professor Furman for her remarks, which remind us that sustainability advances when scientists' knowledge, public policy, and meaningful participation by communities and local governments come together. Next, we welcome Dr. Carlos Miranda, President and founder of the Foundation for Social Development, FUDESO, and a key driver of partnerships and cooperation through the National Commission for Sustainable Development. Carlos.
Thank you, Daniela. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us and for being part of this space that we have built this with great care from FUDESO, together with Noble Delta Women for Peace and Development International, the Brazilian Amazon Mangrove Coalition, with the institutional support of the Finnish National Commission on Sustainable Development, with Eeva, and the participation of the former mayor of Panguipulli. It is truly a joy to see this meeting between Africa, Latin America, and Europe coming together to talk about something that connects us deeply, the protection of the wetland as a living system. And I must also acknowledge our friends joining from Asia, from countries that feel very distant to me, like Nepal, for example. I would like to greet Eeva Furman in a very special way. Eeva, it is such a pleasure to meet again here, working with in your Global Forum of the National SDG Advisory Bodies. We was meet the last time in South Africa in Cape Town, like 3 years ago. I deeply admire you, your broad perspective, your ethics, and your ability to connect sustainability with the life realities of communities. Thank you for being here today and for opening this space. This is very important for us. It's like to share something brief but very personal about wetlands. When this is a personal story, when I was 8 years old, I traveled with my family to Panguipulli in southern Chile. That trip marked me forever. I remember the lake of Panguipulli, the forest, and those wetlands that you don't have the words for at that age. Yeah, but I taught you anyway. Yeah, I remember a very close friend, Daniela, And in my case, they left a mark that I still carry today. In fact, the first time I ever record a video in my life with a camera was of a family of ducks living in the wetland right in the town of Panguipulli, in Bahia of Panguipulli. And that's why it's truly moving for me to introduce Pedro Burgos in the panel, former mayor of the same town. Pedro comes from a territory that I have loved since childhood, when I was a children. And one that is now at a pivotal moment, the still pending official designation of Bahia Panguipulli urban wetland, a wetland that urgently needs recognition, protection, and an appropriate governance framework, with all stakeholders, and a case that reflects what is happening in so many places across the global south: institutional tensions, real estate pressures, but also local identity, community strength, and above all, tremendous ecological and spiritual value. For the Mapuche people, this place is the space of the spirits, like the guardian spirit, and this is very important. Today, the panel is an incredible opportunity to bring this experience together. From Nigeria, we will hear from Caroline, working in a territory where wetlands are deeply connected to peace, environment, justice, and the livelihoods of women and communities. From Chile, Pedro, that spoke now, will share the concrete experience of a territory that is fighting hard for the protection of an urban wetland, a process in which he himself laid one of the first stones. And from Brazil, Bruna Martins will share the work of a coalition protecting mangroves, one of the most vital ecosystems on the planet, in the Amazon. I also want to thank Diana, Vega, and Daniela, like moderator of this session, whose dedication made these events possible, and the other volunteers that are present. Before arriving at this moment, we reiterate a reflection from many people and organizations that are present now, and you put in the extensive and very long formulation in your registration. And it was interesting to see that despite coming from different countries and very different realities, there was a clear convergence. Almost all responses highlight the same principle. Like, for example, real, not symbolic community participation, transparency and access to information to build trust, clear legal frameworks that provides continuity beyond political cycles, not only for a cycle of politics in the local or national governments. Integration of different kinds of knowledge, scientific, local, and ancestral. An ecosystem-based approach, because a wetland is never an isolated ecosystem, Equity and environmental justice, recognizing the work of those who care for their territories, and of course, sustainable financing and capacity building, without which nothing can truly function, It's striking how this principle appears in such diverse communities. This shows us that we share common challenge, and that our solutions can also be built collectively. Before continue, I want to acknowledge something that truly moved me. This event has brought together an impressive territorial diversity. Today we are joined by people connected from Latin America, Africa, Asia, Europe, and North America. We have participants from Chile, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, Bolivia, Panama, Mexico, the United States, and Canada, from Nigeria, Mauritania, Uganda, Sudan, Malawi, Cote d'Ivoire, South Africa, and Lesotho, from Brazil, from Bangladesh, and Yemen, as well as from Nepal, a country geographically so distant from my own, and yet very present in this conversation today, And of course, from Finland, Germany, and United Kingdom, who joins us from Europe. We also have representation for multiple actors, academia, community organizations, and civil society, territorial leaders, foundations, international organizations, the private sector, local and national government, and even individuals participating in their own driving by a personal commitment to the protection of the wetland. It is truly inspiring to see how from so many different territories and professional backgrounds, we are all converging today around a shared purpose. To close, I want to sincerely thanks for the event here. This event is not just a technical, it's a political, ethical, and deeply territorial space. A space to listen, to learn from other countries, and to strengthen Sud-Sud cooperation as well as dialogue with Europe. I hope this conversation help us move together more inclusive, fair, and coherent governance, aligned with the wetlands truly are living system that sustain our communities, our diversity, and our climate resistance, and our life. With that, I'm honored to hand the floor back to Daniela, who will continue with the event, and thank you very much.
We also thank you, Carlos, for these remarks and his call to continue building effective cooperation from the territories. Now, we will continue with our interregional panel. Which brings together experience from the Niger Delta, southern Chile, and the Amazon mangroves of Brazil. These are distinct territories, yet connected by a shared challenge, protecting and regenerating wetlands and living systems essential for climate resilience and community well-being. We now introduce our panelists. Representing Brazil, we are honored to welcome Ms. Bruna Martins Cuira, coordinator of the Brazilian Amazon Mangrove Coalition. Representing Nigeria, we are joined by Ms. Caroline Usikpedo-Oliseowe, I hope I say it right, Executive Director of Novel Delta Women for Peace and Development International. And representing Chile, we welcome Mr. Pedro Burgos, former mayor of Panguipulli in the Los Ríos region. We invite you to share your perspectives on the central theme of this event, wetland as living system, and the lessons from your territories in protection, participation, and governance. We begin with Ms. Bruna Martins Cuira, who will share the experience of the Amazon mangroves of Brazil and the lessons emerging from community-based and territorial work. Bruna.
Hi, everyone. First of all, it's a pleasure being here virtually. I'm actually attending to COP30 in presential. I'm here in Berlin. And it's my first COP30. It's the first time the Amazonian mangrove are represented in this kind of global agenda. So for us, it's also a great achievement to be in events, make ourselves visible. I think that for a long time, and I've been from a family who are fishers in Brazil, and for a long time, be a fisher or living in a mangrove, it's not like cool, we're not recognized. So now we have global agendas and also these events who make ourselves feel more proud of the place that we've been growing up. So I also have feel this responsibility of my ancestors to be here, sharing my experience to defend and protect my own territory. So nowadays, I'm defending and protecting Amazonian mangroves, and I'm really happy to have this connection with you all. I usually would like to start as talking about my family history. So I'm a daughter and granddaughter of fishermen, fisherwomen who living their lives by using the mangrove as the main basin of livelihoods. So my father used to catch crabs for their subsistence, and my grandmother used to catch shellfish. And for a long time, our communities, my father, for example, he's grow up with my grandmother tells to him that, oh, you cannot have dignity in life if you being a fisherman or if you're living in the mangrove. So my father has to move on of this community. And now years later, I'm working in the communities that my father growing up by protecting and defending. Here in Brazil, we have a system of marine protected areas, and in Amazon region, we have 14 marine protected areas who sustain and maintain our areas protected. But what we have been faced is that now that we have our territory be recognized by the law of the government, we must to make this area effective to protect not just the mangrove, but also our way of lives. So this also is a common thing that I usually spread when I have this kind of conversation, is that for us, mangrove is not just tree. We're not just fighting or have our struggle for stand up mangroves. We want a mangroves alive. And um, by understanding this alive ecosystem, we understanding by have people in this connection. So for us, I mean, for me, mangrove, it's my home. It's part of my body. It's my territory, and it's part of my way of life. And defending this wetland, this blue carbon ecosystem is also defend my culture, my values, and also my communities. And by understanding this, we have a huge effort to organize our communities. So now we have this effort, this coalition that is formed by youth, women, and local communities across 1 million hectares of mangrove. So it's a lot of responsibility to make ourselves visible and also try to find for dignity in life. I mean, we cannot. One of the things that we have tried to say in COP30, in biodiversity COP, or Ocean Conference is that we have to understand that the metrics for live ecosystem has to encompass the metric for of social economical metrics. I mean, it's not just about you have huge trees or have a source of carbon. You must to have also communities with access to water, to education, to infrastructure. And by understanding that, we start this movement, and I'm really happy and proud to be part of it, that start to organize our community to make the incidence in the global agenda and also in the local level. So just for you guys understand, as we say, for a long time, even here in Brazil, I am an Amazonian woman. And for a long time, being Amazonian in Brazil, it's not cool. It's not a great thing. Actually, it's something that makes ourselves vulnerable. But right now we are facing this, we are changing this now. We are twist this comprehension, and now, wow, thank thanks for all this effort. Now I have proud to say I'm an Amazonian woman, and I'm a woman who defend and protect mangroves. But for a long time, defend and protect this territory, it's not actually people would be strengthened by that. So we start this movement. Now we are more than 50 marine protected areas together that are raising the voices of local communities, youth, women by defending mangroves. We have launched a yearly campaign in 26 July, which is the World Mangrove Protection Day, by raising the proud and say to our society that we are important and our areas are important, and that is important to protect not just mangrove but also the communities. And as my father was forced to leave this community, now I believe that the young people must have opportunity to stay in their own areas by monitoring, by be education activities. So we are, yeah, it's not a, I mean, straight way. You have a lot of goes and down to trying to make our communities live with more dignities and conserve our ecosystems. This is another thing that we are facing, that most of finance is for restore ecosystem when we are actually trying to keep our ecosystem conserved. So I also believe that we have to change the architecture of how finance goes to protect and also already conserved areas. Um, Here in COP30, I realized my first climate COP event, and I realized how important it is that our ecosystem being connected, the global South, Latin America. So that's why I feel so proud and honored to be here, even virtually, to try to connect with you all, that we are here trying to do our best to defend our communities and our territories and our mangrove areas. And I hope that we can have possibilities to strafe this connection to the future. So yeah, that is my speech for today. I hope that you guys could understand me, even with my, I mean, with my English. So yeah, just for you guys know that we have guardians, defend mangrove and Amazon coastline here in Brazil.
Thank you very much for your for your words, experience, and perspective. Sorry for my bad connection. Now, please repeat. We now welcome to Ms. Carolina Usikpedo-Oliseowe, who will share her vision on wetland as a living system after lesson learned from the Niger Delta in protection, participation, and governance. Um, please, Caroline.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Just a moment, yeah. Thank you, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning from Nigeria here where I am, connecting with you people. So I'm going to share the case of the Niger Delta region, Nigeria. It's not different from what Bruna has just shared about the Amazon. So the Niger Delta region, Nigeria, is the largest wetland in Africa and the third largest mangrove forest in the world. It has 3 sites listed as Ramsar wetlands of international importance. So the Niger Delta region is known for its rich biodiversity, significant oil production, and ongoing environmental challenges. All over the world, we are known for environmental challenges due to the activities of the multinationals. So the Niger Delta is characterized by a complex network of wetlands comprising mangrove forest, freshwater swamps, tidal flats, and estuaries. So these wetlands, the wetlands ecosystems play a pivotal role in supporting biodiversity, providing habitat for various plants and animal species. But unfortunately, the case is not what it ought to be. I have a picture of what the Niger Delta looks like. I don't know if you can screen that photograph. Can you please put in the photo? The next one. Move, please. Move. Yes. So this is a clear case of the Niger Delta. The first photo signifies the Niger Delta, green, blue, and its full wetlands when it used to be the Niger Delta region. But we were faced with multiple challenges. And as at today, the second picture shows the true picture of the Niger Delta. Our mangroves have disappeared. Our ecosystems have been degraded. We don't no longer have fresh water or anything. So the challenges continues to increase in the Niger Delta. And what are these challenges? Oil pollution as a result of oil spillages from the multinational corporations. We have a lot of deforestation. Then we have erosion. We are faced with multiple erosion, loss of biodiversity. Then the greatest challenge now is that climate change that has befallen everybody. There are no more fishes in the river, and all entire livelihoods are gone. So looking at protection and regeneration of wetlands in Nigeria, and then when you trickle it down to the Niger Delta. So wetland protection and regeneration in Nigeria are addressed through the international conventions and national laws like the Wetland Riverbank and Lake Shores Protection Regulations of 2009, and treaties like the Ramsar Convention, which Nigeria is a signatory, and provides a framework for national action and international cooperation for the conservation and wise use of wetlands. So Nigeria also has the National Environmental Standards and Regulation Enforcement Agency. So what does these national laws do? They do provision of water catchment protection, flood control, habitat protection, and this law mandates the wetland resources to be used sustainably. And in addition, there is an act that requires that an environmental impact assessment must be done before certain activities are carried out. Despite these frameworks, legal frameworks in place, the challenges continues. So, as Ella stated, pollution has been a major challenge in the Niger Delta. I grew up in the Niger Delta. I live in the Niger Delta. I migrated to Lagos, Nigeria, and I came back to work in the Niger Delta because I saw the way that our livelihoods are being destroyed. People are being impoverished due to this environmental pollution and land degradation. And the causes are human causes, not even natural, because the activities of the oil multinationals have caused a grave damage in the lives and livelihoods of the people of the Niger Delta. So also there is a problem of weak enforcement. When you have laws and you don't even enforce the laws, it's as good as there are no laws. And the result is continuous impoverishment of the local communities where we are from. There are several uncontrolled activities. We are faced with these problems like dredging, and deforestation that still threatens the wetland ecosystems. Nobody controls anybody. Of course, corruption eats deep into a lot of these systems. So people just get into places and do things that they are not supposed to do. And this brings me to encroachment. We cannot shy away from urban development and illegal reclamation that is happening all over Nigeria, not even only the Niger Delta. They come in the name of big projects trying to support communities, promising 100 years of returns. And then they reclaim all these ecosystems and begin to build industries that will come and destroy and degrade the land the most. Then there are lack of incentives. The legal framework in place does not provide for payment for ecosystem services, which can disincentivize local communities from protecting wetlands as they do not directly benefit from their conservation. So the question that comes to mind is, how do we address these challenges? First is empowering communities. One key thing to protecting our wetland is by empowering the local communities. There is need to support community-led conservation efforts and provide them with resources and legal backing to protect their local wetlands. Also, we need to increase public awareness because ignorance has led to destruction of our wetlands. So there is need to implement educational programs to highlight the value of wetlands and the consequences of their degradation. Because if people are aware, they will be cautious. They will know that we are here to protect the ecosystems and not to damage it. Then they must strengthen enforcement. A law that is not being implemented or enforced is as good as no law. There is need to enforce penalties for the polluters. We have always been campaigning, even at COP, let the polluter pay, let the polluters pay. How many polluters have paid? The Niger Delta is a clear case of holding the polluters accountable. Let them pay for the damages because they illegally degrade the wetlands, and there is need to also improve the monitoring to ensure that there is compliance with the standards that are being set in place. Then we need to promote sustainable practices. That is the only way that we can have it as a living system. There is need to encourage eco-friendly agricultural and fishing methods for coastal communities and support sustainable land use planning. So today, COP is ongoing and everybody is looking out for the outcome of COP 30. So what can COP 30 do at this time? COP 30 must deliver its promise of integrating ecosystem-based solutions as a key strategy to build resilience and reduce vulnerability to climate impacts. We are calling on all world leaders to protect our planet because it's the only one we have got. So let me end here by saying that we are the first generation to feel the effect of climate change and the last generation who can do something about it. Let's act now. We all need nature. Thank you.
Thank you, Caroline. We thank her for her perspectives and presentation. Finally, we will hear from Mr. Pedro Burgos, who will present the experience of southern Chile and the local challenges related to wetland protection and governance. Pedro.
Good afternoon, everyone. I need to say you that it's a very high challenge to make this presentation in English language. It's an honor to be here sharing a territorial experience for understanding how the local communities are driving the protection of a strategic ecosystem like wetland, for example. Today, I will present experience of Panguipulli district, very small city in the south of Chile. It's a territory with an extraordinary natural richness where wetland in urban wetlands and rural wetlands, where the biodiversity play a higher role for the climate resilience. Panguipulli is in the river region in the south of Chile. It's a very big area known for his water system and high ecosystem value. Panguipulli is known as a seven lake area, has a territory but has a tourism destiny too. Protecting his diversity for us is not only aspiration. We think that today is a urgent priority because the wetland has the presentation before said the sustained flora, fauna, ecological cycles, and essential human activities that live in the area. However, this protection requires a shared vision that includes, for example, involving local communities. Coordinating territorial actors is so very important, and building concrete regularity tools. In Chile, there is many regularity tools, for example, laws, but not necessarily is about wetlands. In the case of rural wetland in Panguipulli, between 2022 and 2023, and maybe 2024, the municipality of Panguipulli led a process to create a local protection based in an ordinance for rural wetlands. This was a process that involved meetings with territorial communities, mainly Mapuche communities, participation of a civil society organization was very important too, technical support for the environment professional. During 2 years, technical professionals were visiting the wetlands, the rural wetland of Panguipulli, making professional work to give the sustainability to the ordinance. As a result of this collaboration, was possible to establish an integrated system of ordinances dedicated to protecting his rural wetland. In the presentation that you are looking, you can say eight rural wetland that show how this ordinance was approved. The picture show that in 2023, because the municipality have a local instance to approve that. But the municipality, what was the importance with this ordinance? The municipality first sets clear rules to conservation. Official recognize this ecosystem because it's not natural to municipalities or public organization recognize the wetland such ecosystem or natural value, and also regulates compatible land uses. That is very important too. So in parallel, during 2022, the municipality worked with a formal process that began to protect Panguipulli urban wetland. This is located in the Bay Area of the town. This is the presentation are showing where is the before the last. Please come back in these pictures, you can see the city of Panguipulli, and very close to the city, the urban wetland that in the process that is carried out under the leadership of Chile's Ministry of Environment, and this work to allow for the municipality. For example, technical studies. In this meeting is a professional of SEUM Valdivia, Colleague Ignacio Rodriguez, with professional teams. It was very, very important to technical studies to support the urban wetland to this work. Also, this work allowed community observation, identification of the wetland ecological boundaries. The limits are very important too, and it's scientific criteria for this protection. This action will improve the ecological condition of the wetland. In this moment, we are waiting for the Chilean Ministry of Environment that should officially confirm the protection of the Panguipulli urban wetland. This allows water regulation, habitat provision, maybe a space for environmental education and opportunities for responsible tourism too. Panguipulli is a very touristic destiny. We are in a situation complex today because while we are expecting the resolution from the Ministry of Environment in Chile, the current municipality administration has denied the existence of this wetland and is carry out actions such as tree cutting within the boundaries, losing years of technical community and interinstitutional work. We are very, very complex with that as a community. For several Mapuche communities too, for FUDESO, for example, for Panguipulli Corporation and local environment organization. To conclude, the experience of Panguipulli show that the wetland is not only important for the life. The wetland needs regulation, scientific evidence, community participation, and a long-term vision. This is not only for now; it's only for the future. The video show the today's situation with the cutting tree, as I said before. And in this climate crisis context, these ecosystems are not a luxury. It's are fundamental for the life, are fundamental for the development of Panguipulli, his community, his Mapuche communities, and we hope that the authorities change the vision to allow that the Chilean Ministry of Environment confirm the resolution of the urban wetland in this city. This is my presentation. Thank you very much, and I need to sorry about my English language.
No problem. We deeply appreciate his presentation and valuable reflection shared. We sincerely thanks each of our panelists for their contribution. We now open a brief space for comment. If you wish to submit comment or question in Spanish or Portuguese, you may do so through the chat where we translate it. As we approach the end of the session, I would like to share a brief summary of the key messages we heard today. Wetlands are living systems essential to addressing the climate crisis, sustainable biodiversity, and ensure water security. Participatory governance involving communities, local governments, and territorial actors is indispensable for Africa, Latin America as they face shared challenges and build transformative solutions. Sud-Sud cooperation remains as a strategic pillar for advancing toward development movement model that they are more just, integrate, and sustainable. Before concluding, I would like to ask whether Professor Eva Furman or Dr. Carlos Miranda would like to offer any final remarks. Professor Eva or Carlos, would you like to offer any final remarks? No?
Nice, all okay.
Okay. As the Foundation of Social Development FUDESO, we are reaffirming our commitment to define the strategic ecosystem, strengthening local capacities, and building more inclusive multi-stakeholder governance. We extend our sincere thanks to Professor Eva Furman, Dr. Carlos Miranda, our distinguished panelists, and each one of you for your time, attention, and willingness to continue collaborating. We warmly invite you to participate in future dialogue and process. Thank you very much and have a wonderful afternoon. Wonderful afternoon.